the growth. Hello, everyone. It's Sandra Horton, your business success coach. I'm so excited today. I just wanted to show up as me, myself, and I, and talk to you from my heart to your heart about some pretty important things that I believe all of us, whether you're an aspiring leader, one of those old pros who's been leading people, or just leading yourself, or for someone who is new in a position of leadership, however you find yourself here today, I want to have this authentic, raw, and real conversation about how to show up, how to really, truly be your best self in those moments of doubt, of fear, and of growth. You know, it's been really interesting for myself over the last probably year and a half in having and becoming fully present to myself. Having that truth within myself that I could accomplish anything that I wanted, that I could attract and manifest just everything that I desired. But importantly, that was aligned to who I am, my greater purpose, my greater why. But you know, it hasn't always been super easy or simple. However, it could have been if I had learned some of these strategies earlier. These are just opportunities, an invitation to you now to breathe in and out, inviting yourself into a new way to explore yourself. So, in those situations where you find yourself, how you can show up. You know, this week has been really interesting for me and some of the work that I've been doing in this new organization. And I don't know if this is going to resonate for you. Maybe perhaps it will. Consider a time when you were new to something. You were new to doing maybe a new job or leading a new team or just new to thinking differently, whatever that is. I want you to imagine what it would be like in that moment right now. Imagine yourself, what would you be doing? What would you be hearing yourself speak? How would you feel in those moments? So imagine yourself in that role now. For me, I had that exact experience this last week. I find stories are very powerful. So I want to share my story of what I learned this week and why I was so motivated to talk about this. So in this moment, I have a newness, an opportunity to show up as a genuine leader, which I am. But in this moment of awakening, I realized something. How could I show my best self without exposing myself, perhaps, for in these moments of maybe not having enough knowledge? Again, we have so many beliefs. Perhaps some of these are limiting beliefs. Maybe we see ourselves in a different light. So I want to share some strategies that's helped me understand these moments and how to show up. It was about my mindset, wasn't it? So consider yourself, go back, take that moment right now when you were feeling the newness of maybe feeling that uncomfortableness of change, of new beginnings, new thoughts. We felt doubt, didn't we? Perhaps we felt overwhelmed. Maybe even we felt like, oh my gosh, how the heck am I going to do this? But yet, there's a part of us in that newness, in that uncomfortableness of change. We have an opportunity to decide how we're going to see these things. What kind of mindset do we need to have in order to show up in our best version of ourselves? Mindset is really powerful. I would ask for you to write down what were the words that you heard yourself speak. Were they positive words? Were they powerful words? Or were they words that were less than excellent? That really spoke about your uncomfortableness and your distress and maybe your feelings of inadequacy or even fear. Write down, these are important things to do in these new moments. And in writing those words down, we can reflect upon them. So if those words are not supportive, what do? Well, we have a choice. We can choose to change what we speak right here, right now. And that happened to me. So I was sitting at home. I was actually housebound for the last 6 or 7 days here in where I live due to smoke and some very pretty bad air quality. I had a choice to make in my virtual meetings how I was going to show up. Even though they're virtual, I'm still in this circumstance where I can't go outside. My external world is very chaotic. It is not helpful. It's actually harmful. And here I am not feeling well. That was my newness moment because I'm new to this organization. I'm in this exact same spot that I'm asking you to reflect upon. I had a choice to make. My mindset, I had to make a decision on how I wanted to approach my current circumstance. I had to choose to go within and choose to change those words. So if I had a moment where I was speaking about what if, could I stopped myself. I actually stopped myself and I began to write down those words and shift them to the words where I am powerful. And importantly, what I found is that through this beautiful path of evoking the best part of me, what I did is I connected to my heart. When we connect to our heart, what are we doing? We're moving from here, only being in our egoic mind. When we make that purposeful moment to stop, to say, heck no, I'm in this newness and I'm not going to sabotage myself. I'm not going to, listen to those words, I'm not going to. With definite of purpose, of deciding here and now to stop, to say, I can versus I can't. So even though I'm housebound because I can't go outside, I'm literally on all these inhalers to keep my breathing again, which I had that unfortunate incident earlier this year. I was triggered. I wasn't feeling great, but I had a choice in this new role, in this new leadership way of how I was going to respond and show up. So ask yourself, have you done that? Have you decided for yourself in anything new or uncomfortable or situations that are externally focused? What do you do? How do you think? What are the words that you use? Just stop. If they're not positive and productive, release them. So that's what I did. I said, I have a choice here today. I can live in fear. I can feel overwhelmed, or I can have doubt. I chose in that moment, even though my breathing wasn't great, I chose to show up. I took and went inside and I decided what resources can I bring to my current experience right here and right now. That's the power we have within our beautiful self. We are infinitely resourceful, but sometimes we forget. So by going back, and this is why I'm saying, look at the words that you're speaking. How are you showing up? Are you sitting or standing tall? Are you feeling strong? And if not, why not? Shift your body, breathe differently, use different words. That is in your control. Be responsible and know that it is within to without. Within to without. So and this was happening to me in these moments today. People see me. I was so positive. I was doing great things. They had no idea that I was suffering because I made the choice to know, and this is a key piece here about showing up and being your best version. For me, it was about trust. I had to recommit to trusting myself. You know, it's really interesting because I've had these other experiences, other external triggers before. I had to stop and realize I was being triggered again. I had to trust and recommit within to go back in, as I said, to my heart, get out of my head, and say to myself, I trust myself. I am perfectly capable of being in a wonderful place and space. I am not dependent or being a victim of my external circumstance. Think about that for a moment. How do you look at circumstances? Do you let them or allow them? What are the words that you say when I said that? We have a choice to understand right here, right now, that how we look at this is in our control again. And I'm repeating this purposefully. Move from being a victim or codependent on previous experience patterns that most of these are subconscious. Get it? We just go on route. We go on these patterns, these beliefs, these ways of being that don't make sense. Stop it. And that's what I chose to do. I wrapped myself in self-love. Literally, like just hug yourself and begin to trust yourself, trust your body. Because if we're connected in our heart, and this is why it's so relevant to the Leadership Heart podcast, it's about heart and leading ourselves first in order to lead others. Fear can debilitate us. I chose to look fear straight in the eyes. And I said, no, I'm not choosing you today. I'm choosing strength and courage and knowing that I can do it. I reflected back. This is another strategy that you can do too. Go back in your timeline, in your life, and look at the resources, the powerful strengths that you have in how you overcome perhaps a similar situation. Bring it into your life, bring it into your leadership. That's the power of showing up for your best self. Many people forget how to do that, but you can. You just make that simple choice. Because our body is listening to us, isn't it? If our body is sensing an increase in cortisol and our endorphins or whatever that is in those emotions that are being triggered, we are having chemical reactions happening all the time in our bodies. We just have to stop, listen, and then choose new ways to diffuse it. This is another strategy that was very helpful for me and how to be in my best self in moments of fear, of doubt, and even growing. We can have huge moments of emotions that, we're feeling just so excited that we can have perhaps an overpowering moment for others. So if you find yourself in these moments, also, again, just breathe, ground into something that makes you feel safe. And as someone who has been able to go through her own personal journey of leadership development, of self-development, I've realized that by grounding in, as I say, to Mother Earth and connecting to a higher source, infinite intelligence, God, whatever it is for you, powerful. Because then we tap into the power and those experiences that were positive for us in order to move forward. But you have to make the choice to do that, don't you? Just choose. It's so powerful. And then feel it fully. It is through the feeling that we can change our states. I have some other notes that I have here I wanted to share too. The other part of this is learning, again, to release and let go. So if you are finding right now that you're not feeling supported, perhaps the people around you at work or at home are not supporting you, then change them. You are your best and own champion of knowing what you need. First, obviously, is to tap into yourself and love yourself. Ignite that flame of self-love and then bring in resources. That's exactly what I did this week. In that moment where I'm leading this new project, I had these doubts. I had this overwhelm. I had this physical things happening to me. But what I did and how I chose to bring in these resources was amazing. I brought in other people within the team to be able to answer and ask different questions that allowed me space to think. Because we can't think, perhaps, as clearly as we would like with clarity when we're in this egoic way. Think about that. Do you think clearly when you're overwhelmed or fearful or not feeling well? Probably not. So take the time and then you bring in all these beautiful people. The other thing too that really made a difference for me this week is again, I go back to that mindset, the positivity in this moment. I have made the choice to not see external circumstances, barriers, limitations, obstacles as something that's done to me. It's a learning and it's a lesson. What I learned from this week, and it's such a beautiful, powerful week. I actually shared this with some of the team that I'm with. I shared that I had the opportunity to grow. It is about growth, isn't it? The patterns, the repeated ways of beingness is showing us new ways to find ourselves and our strengths and the love for who we are so that we can share our best versions of ourselves. So I took these adversity, I took these obstacles, and I just went forward. And I sought to find the positive and perhaps some of the anguish that I was feeling. You kind of go, how can you do that, Sand? You can. Because you look at what is something that is new for you. What is some of the positives you can glean from this? What is something new that you want to learn about yourself to apply in your leadership? For yourself, for your family, for your work environment. If you maintain that positive outlook, that yes, I can do this, you will, and you fully are capable because it becomes from the wish fulfilled. You step into that way of being when you're strong and you're confident. That's why I said, go back into your past. Look at some of the resources, the ways of thinking and being and feeling that allowed you to be strong. It is the best, 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 best opportunity, and people will feel you. But then the important thing is you're trusting yourself, but you also have to show yourself. So don't forget to be vulnerable and ask for help. Ask for supports when you need it. But know you are fully capable of all that is within you can help and support you in any moment. But there are those times that we do need to bring in other teammates. Or if you're leading a team or a project, there's so many beautiful, great resources. So you role model what others want to see. It's amazing the power of positivity. And together we learn and we grow. And if you're still feeling overwhelmed emotionally, get help. Sometimes life is just really overwhelming and you need professional help. There's lots of beautiful people to anchor into. If you need help and support in the coaching world, then reach out to coaches like myself. Whatever it takes for you to get the needed resources, just do it. Make the choice. Don't sit there. Don't be overwhelmed. You don't need to be. 34 years, I was overwhelmed. Not anymore. Authentically, openly, I found a new way. I shifted my mindset. I went on this journey of exploration inside. I released and got rid of a lot of trauma and things that were holding me back. How is that for you? If you hold things that no longer serve you, decide today to release and let go. And as a leader, guess what? Everyone has something that they can release and let go of. So begin today. Begin anew. I just love this opportunity to share some of my insights, some of my personal story from this week of stepping truly into even more of a beautiful, authentic, conscious way of being for myself and for the leadership that I have, and how I lead projects and teams and help support other leaders do the same thing. We're always growing. So truly make that choice today to change. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about how to do that, please do feel free to reach out to me. My heart is always open to help people, but you have to choose you and make that choice today. So thank you so much from the Leadership Heart Podcast. For me, Sandy Horton, to all of you who are listening live or on the podcast, just know you can do it. Change can be uncomfortable of ourselves, our circumstances, but when we're uncomfortable, we're growing. So let's be present. Let's bring a positive mindset. Live with gratitude. Have gratitude. Wake up with intention every day. What are you grateful for? Change your mind. Change your perspective. Your life will change. Thank you again. And I look forward to next week. We have the amazing Dr. Yasmin Saad, who will be joining us live on the Leadership Heart Podcast. Make it a great day. Thank you, everyone. Much love and gratitude.